Well, the suspected gunman Cole Allen will appear in a federal courtroom tomorrow. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche says it was likely President Trump that he was targeting, along with
Whole piece is just to be like Cole Allen. He was a fucking guy. These same freaks are now saying Tim Walz incited this. Tim Walz, no one has ever been more dangerous country than Donald Trump. He's a fascist to his core. It's true. Why do they keep posting true statements about Donald Trump? It's literally correct. Okay? You're not going to... I'm going to be honest, dude. I know what they're trying to do, okay? They're trying to shame liberals into, I guess, submission, into not saying correct things about Donald Trump, not criticizing Donald Trump at all. It's not going to fucking work. There's one way to discredit these statements. It is to not be a fascist, okay? It's just so stupid. They removed the download button from Steam. They don't want the dangerous radical video game of this dangerous radical. Yeah, even Elisa Slotkin. See, remember when last week this exact same Republican account was posting my quotes, and then Elisa Slotkin was shitting on me, and then Fox News was defending Elisa Slotkin. Oh wow! It turns out they don't give a fuck about Elisa Slotkin shit on me at all. It turns out they're calling her a dangerous radical as well. Oh my God. Imagine my surprise when I see the same Republicans that were propping up people like Elisa Slotkin for shit on me and saying I was a dangerous radical. All of a sudden, Elisa Slotkin is a dangerous radical. Oh, wow. How shocking. How shocking. I really thought this was the turning point for the Republican Party. They were going to say they want a strong Democrat Party. They were going to say they actually do have the best interests of the Democratic Party in mind. It turns out I was wrong. It turns out they were going to call every single person that is in opposition to the president and to the Republican Party dangerous radicals again. Huh. Sarah Longwell learned that lesson as well, it seems. So what happened? Why do we do this? Why do we do this for weeks? Why do we do this entire process? This is a question for the liberals. It's not for the Republicans, because I know why Republicans call me a fucking terrorist. I know why Republicans yell at me all the goddamn time. I oppose them. Now, of course, I oppose the centrists as well. I oppose the right-wing forces in the Democratic Party as well. But why are you an elected representative? Why are you also leaning into the same fucking facts? Look, I'm not saying everyone who's criticized Piker needs to be investigated as a terrorist, but on the other hand, why take the chances? True. This is the same principle that Democrats need to remember right now, what they're experiencing right now. They need to remember this when these fascists call communism out or call socialism out or say, oh, you hate America to people like myself. If you are stupid enough to lean into that narrative, okay, you don't realize that you're giving an opening to your opposition. They are going to say, you're a terrorist. You hate America regardless. Okay, because they understand, unlike the Democrats for some reason, they understand that they're in a battle here. Okay, they're waging ideological war. Democrats, on the other hand, think for some weird reason that it's patty cakes. That, like, if they play nice with the Republican Party, the Republicans won't actually put them in the fucking camps. No, you're going in the camps too, dumbass. You're going to be there right alongside myself, okay? That's why there's never been a moment where the Republican Party has ever said stupid fuck like, we need a strong Democratic Party, or stupid fuck like, oh, long gone are the old good days of the Democrats when they were so valuable, so good, and cared about democracy, or were patriotic Americans. No, they call Democrats pedophilic the vampires, okay? They tie up Democrats with the QAnon conspiracies. They don't give a shit. They're going to be arguing with you, blaming you for not convincing people to vote for Kamala hard enough. Yeah, I don't give a shit. Yeah. If this is the new standard, then Trump is responsible for the massacre of Latinos in the Walmart El Paso. I mean, he is. And he is responsible for the massacre of the Jews in the synagogue in Pittsburgh, for the record. His words were incitement. Both shooters used the exact same invasion replacement Soros rhetoric that Trump and the GOP has mainstreamed. Yes. Yes. It's true. The difference is Mark Ruffalo calling Trump a rapist pedophile is not incorrect. Whereas Donald Trump claiming that there is a great replacement theory out there and that George Soros and the Jews are responsible for replacing the white American population is untrue. They're making up lies that their followers believe and then act on. Okay? The difference is Mark Ruffalo is not lying. And that's precisely the reason why Trump can't sue Mark Ruffalo for calling him a rapist pedophile. It's that simple. Like, the logical conclusion here is literally anyone that says anything remotely true about Donald Trump, who's responsible for a metric ton of awful nonsense, is actually trying to assassinate him. No, you can be anti-political violence, as I am as well, and simultaneously say correct things about the president. It's just fucking insane. The real issue in that regard is actually the actions of the president, not people correctly calling it out. That's what this exercise is all about, for the record, for people who don't understand. They don't want you, and I said this after Charlie Kirk's assassination as well, they don't want you to say anything about the president. They know he's unpopular. They know his policies are violent. They like that violence. They don't want to be called out on what they're associating themselves with, what movement they're a part of. They don't want to be called out on it. And that's precisely the reason why they retaliate in this way whenever, another attempt takes place. So funny. Elisa Slotkin.
Administration officials during last night's shooting. Let's bring in Bill Malugin. We've got more on this. I mean, it really is kind of a fascinating thing, Bill. You and I were both there. Yeah. You were at the same table John Roberts was talking earlier. You were at the same table that John Roberts was at. And for us to get over there so we could kind of coalesce and figure out what was going on and a coverage plan.
You're just victim blaming Trump? Dog, that's the president. What are you saying? Okay, 4 months subscribers. This guy's memeing.
And so forth, took a fair bit because the tables were very close together.
Oh, yeah, we were all packed in there like sardines. Yeah. Wild experience, and I think we all felt like 3 to 5 seconds of panic as we were figuring out what was going on in that room. But in the meantime, the White House is telling Fox News that law enforcement has recovered a manifesto belonging to that alleged shooter in which he said he wanted to target Trump administration officials. He also apparently had all sorts of anti-Trump and anti-Christian content on his social media profiles. Now, multiple federal law enforcement sources tell us that the suspect has been ID'd as 31-year-old Cole Allen of Torrance, California. We are told he was initially talking to law enforcement after his arrest, admitting his intent was to target the Trump administration, but he has since stopped talking and is no longer being cooperative. Now, those sources tell Fox that Cole checked into the Washington Hilton Hotel on Friday, the day before he allegedly carried out this attack, and Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche explained on Fox this morning how it appears he got to D.C. from California.
What we have learned and what they've learned just overnight is that it appears he traveled from Los Angeles through Chicago to Washington, D.C., and it appears he traveled by train during both legs of that trip. As far as motivation, we are still looking into that. It appears he was targeting members of the administration, but I say that generally because that's all we know right now. We don't have any specifics beyond that.
Now, the White House tells Fox that Allen had previously attended a No Kings protest in California, and his family had actually notified police about a manifesto he had sent to them prior to this attack. His sister reportedly told investigators during an interview that he frequently made radical statements and planned to, quote, do something. Now, last night, Jeanine Pirro, the U.S. attorney here in Washington, announced that Cole has been charged with using a firearm during a crime of violence, as well as assault on a federal officer with a dangerous weapon. He is scheduled to make his first appearance in federal court sometime tomorrow, Trace.
The unclear thing for me, Bill, and maybe you have information because I haven't been able to find it, is they apparently the family notified police in New London, Connecticut,
yes.
Right? So New London, Connecticut, the family does not live in New London, Connecticut. We don't know. I mean, we're saying, well...
Hasan, how do I get a job at the CIA writing manifestos? Honestly, they probably need to they probably need a new guy because the guy Cole Allen noticeably did not write anything about the ballroom, which I suspect is something that they forgot to add in there. Because, this would have been perfectly tied together if at the end of the manifesto, he was like, because he was talking about the security and how easy it was, he should have been like, if only If all he should have written, if only there was a ballroom that would have been inaccessible. I would have never been able to get through these the security perimeter.
You know, like the president said with Jackie Heinrich earlier, he's like, well, listen, you know, I wish the New London police had contacted. We don't know that they didn't. We don't know that they didn't.
We also don't know exactly what the connection to New London is, if that's where one family member was or something. We'll wait to find that out. But we do at least know that.
How happy are you that the shooter hated you? I mean, it doesn't it doesn't change anything. It doesn't matter if the fucking shooter loved me or not, because guess what? All of these are blaming me anyway. Will Chamberlain immediately. This was right after the shooting took place. We didn't even know who did it. We didn't even know if the shooter was alive or dead. We didn't even know if he shot anybody. Immediately posted this fucking clip saying, reminder, Hasan publicly advocated for President Trump's assassination. Hasan Piker killed the motherfuckers, let the streets soak red in capitalist blood. The left being told over and over to kill. This has to stop. Even the India's favorite Israel defender, Vivid Prowess, got involved. Israel's number one liar, E.L. Jacoby, as well. And then you had even right-wing liberals like Mark Penn. Shots fired at the bipartisan president. This is a Clinton guy, Hillary and Bill Clinton guy. Maybe it's time for media and the politicians to stop platforming extreme influencers like Hasan Piker and Candace Owens. Charles R. Downs. The other day, Ro Khanna struggled to disavow Hasan Piker's calls to kill Senator Rick Scott. If you're a Democrat, Shabbos Kestenbaum, another agent of Israel. If you're a Democrat and continue to campaign with Hasan, killed the motherfuckers, streets of the streets, blah, 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 all this shit. Please shut the hell up about pretending to condemn political violence. Michael Knowles, where would the shooter have gotten the idea to do something like this? Other than the New York Times, MSNBC, Maxine Waters, Hillary Clinton, Chuck Schumer, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom, Hasan Piker, Stephen Bonnell, Ivy League professors, recent Hollywood movies. Kangman Lee, I don't know, but I feel like now is a good time to remind everyone that Hasan Piker told his viewers to fill the streets with the blood of his political opponents. A serious country would have denaturalized and deported Hasan Piker already. Our ancestors would have done it years ago. Laura Loomer, shooter's a brown, light-skinned black Democrat from California who's also a teacher. How much you want to bet he's a Hasan Piker fan? How come Hasan Piker isn't in jail? Is this a good time to mention that the Democrats' new darling, Hasan Piker, said he wanted the blood of his political opponents to run, says Bonchi from Red State? I've seen enough. Arrest Hasan Piker. Master, I have failed you. Arrest Hasan Piker. On the one hand, calling me straight up Nazi, by the way. Retweets accounts. Mein Gott Niles. Retweeting accounts called Hitler's top N-word. Okay? Yeah, this shit too. Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Everyone is like, everyone is going, oh, well, you hung out with Hasan Piker. You hung out with Hasan Piker. It's just like it's so unbelievably stupid. What is this? Okay, I don't know why I clicked on that link. They're acting like you are the shooter. Yeah, I know. It's because this has nothing to do with the shooting and everything to do with how you can weaponize this shooting against your political enemies. Here is the former deputy director of the FBI, current podcaster and also former podcaster, Dan Bongino, on Fox News this morning, talking about the rise in political violence.
Precedented. And we have a leftist movement and a Democrat Party. I mean, Hakeem Jeffries last.
Yeah, all of those were tweets from before the stream started. There are thousands more since the stream started in the last 6 hours and 30 minutes. Ben Shapiro's been posting nonstop. Okay. They actually do want someone to fucking kill me. Let's be real. I'm aware of it. You know, and obviously every time stuff like this happens, I do get a fuck ton more death threats, you know. Yeah, it puts my life and the life of my loved ones at risk. It's just the reality. Fox News just minutes ago. Damn, Media Tracker is back. Thank you, M-Max. MS Now host calls out disturbing left-wing theories. Wait, what? Former FBI criticizes security following correspondence dinner shooting. I guess I got mentioned in those articles. Here, let's take a look at the former deputy director of the FBI.
He gave a very generic, political violence. Well, we have a left that, has embraced Luigi Mangione, Hasan Piker. We have a left that is not saying stop doing this to the president.
I think there's an assumption on the left where there's no shame in threatening the president's life on the left. So this isn't a both sides thing. So we can just cut that garbage out right now and just stop the nonsense.
It's literally illegal to threaten the president's life. You cannot issue a death threat against the president. It is one of the most illegal versions of speech that is heavily prosecuted in this fucking country. That's why I know no one on the left is publicly doing that.
On the right, okay, on any respected kind of mainstream figure on the right, if you were to go out and even imply someone should be physically hurt on the left for their ideas, you're almost instantly shamed out of the movement.
I'm not going to lie. Dan Bongino kind of looks like Alan Cole, but older.
There's no such corresponding effect on,
especially given what our boy's hairline looked like at the age of 31. By the time he gets to Dan Bongino's age.
On the left. You just mentioned the name.
Time travel? Alan Cole. Sorry, not Cole Allen. Is it Cole Allen? Not Alan Cole. Cole Allen. Looper? Are we thinking time travel?
I don't even want to mention this guy's name because he's such a zero. But he's out there implying that, you know, physical violence is okay and is a means of fighting back against a man or systemic discrimination.
Dude, literally none of those things. I have said none of those things, buddy. I've said zero of those things. You're just making, I mean, you're not even at this point, you're not even taking shit out of context. You're just making shit up.
Whatever crap they throw out there. You're welcomed in open arms on mainstream left-wing podcasts where they're like, hey, come on in and spew this bile out there. There is no such corresponding movement on the right. There is no both sides, folks. Stop telling yourself that. It's not true. You would never be allowed on this network. You work here. I've worked here a long time. You would never be allowed in this network even joking around about that.
Really? Because the guy who said Barack Hussein Obama, was not a real American became the president twice. So, and that shit was posted all over Fox News nonstop. And not only that, but also Tiller, the baby killer, famously did end up killing that doctor that would perform abortion surgeries. Brian Kilmeade.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
Said he wants to murder homeless people. Every single Republican broadcaster has said infinitely more violent shit than I ever have, even in the worst clips that you can fucking find out of context, both from elected representatives all the way to regular ass broadcasters. As a matter of fact, I'll go so far as to say this. The reason why these dudes actually fucking stand me is because in some respects, I do actually speak in a vulgar manner. Okay? That's what it is. They're so used to dealing with liberals who don't want to give them back that same energy. So when there is someone who goes, "No, fuck, suck my dick. You're a piece of shit. You're violent. You're vile. You're a Nazi," they lose their goddamn minds. Now, what they fail to understand is that all of the liberals that are kind, or at least civil, and care about the optics, those liberals are the liberals of media, okay? Those are the liberals in the political class. Normal liberals also feel the same way that I do. Normal liberals and members of the left absolutely are vulgar about the way Republicans are. Have you heard from the average person? Talk to any average person that is not a Trump dick rider, and you will hear quite similar sentiment, if not far, far more violent rhetoric than what I say on this broadcast, especially because I'm still predisposed to abiding by a terms of service. My knee-jerk explanation is that they're now immersed in the same kind of existentialist rhetoric that the political extremes usually are, but without the consciousness of being part of a larger cause that can be hurt by their actions. Yeah, this is it. Liberal politicians use the same "we are in an existential crisis" language as the left, but instinctively shut down any legislative/organizational action as impossible or unrealistic, so their followers have no way to vent off the steam besides click to donate. Yeah. Or you know, vote. What do you do in the off season? That's what I was talking about when I said there's a lot of anger, understandable anger, and understandable animosity in the air right now amongst liberals, amongst independents, towards this administration and its incompetence and its violence. Okay? Ironically enough, the clip that they keep posting of me claiming that I'm actually looking to assassinate the president is me literally pointing to people and their anger, the anger that they have and the resentment that they have, to say, hey, we can take this anger and actually organize. We can take this anger and actually organize so that it's more productive. So it's just not left hanging in the air, left unaddressed, left rudderless. That's what the inherent irony is. This is the least violent rhetoric, as a matter of fact. This is an anti-violence rhetoric. This is a rhetoric I'm utilizing here to avoid violence, avoid decentralized acts. That's all this is. Anyway, on that note, I have to end it here because my family's here. I'm going to hang out with them. Also, I'll be in New York tomorrow.